there were two people in a room. One was on his deathbed. The other one was a minister with a minister's manual reading to him. And the words he was reading were not from the scriptures. As a matter of fact, they were antithetical to the scriptures. The words he was reading were from the Talmud. And these words were, "May my death make atonement for my soul." And these words are words that are spoken by rabbis all over the world to countless people who are perishing. The blind leading the blind, and both of them falling into a pit. And we know that it says, "Kinig zarme eretz hayim pesha mi." He, and of course, from Yoresh Yishai, mentioned a couple of times, and on chapter 11, we know that that passage in Isaiah 53:8 is referring to the Davidic Messiah. He makes atonement. He dies. He's cut off from the land of the living for the transgression of my people. So this idea of the person who is dying, pleading that his death, his own death, will make atonement for his soul. Mitati, may my death, Kaparah, l'chol Avonotai, may my death is an atonement for all my iniquities. This is found in Sanhedrin 6:2, in the Mishnah and in the Talmudic discussion. But we know from the scriptures that from the first death, which snowballs into deaths that roll up into it with all humanity dying, we know that sin entered the world through one man, and through sin entered death, and death passed to all men because all men sinned. So death is the result of sin. It is not something that affects, it does not in itself affect atonement. You cannot say, "May my death make atonement for my sins." The wages of my sins is death. My death is not my atonement. I need an innocent victim to atone for me. This is why we see the bull, the cow, the calf, the lamb come forward to pay. Someone has to pay. And death is the Genesis 3 curse. It is not a self-dealing, self-atonement according to the scriptures. And Isaiah 53:8 shows vicarious death. He died for my people's transgression. And the Shoresh of Isaiah 53:2 links to the Davidic Messiah in chapter 11. The Davidic Messiah must die vicariously for others to break the Genesis 3 death curse that no one else can escape. And his escape is his resurrection. He is innocent, and he comes forward to pay. And when we deny him, we deny his atonement and also his resurrection. And both of these things could be ours, but through our own error, we deny them to ourselves. And so the blind lead the blind, and they all fall into a pit, preferring the words of men rather than the words of God. And you must understand that Rebbe, Melech, HaMoshiach made the Kaparah for your sin, and your death can never do that. And I pray right now that someone will receive him, and they will not look in the rabbi's manual. They will not look in the so-called Hamedrich Harav. They will look in the Hebrew scriptures, and they will find that may my death atone for all my sins in Sanhedrin 6:2 is not true. Let God's word be true, and every man's word, even words in the Talmud, every man be a liar. My own death does not atone for my own sin. I cannot self-deal in atonement. Even in the prayer book, it says, this one goes to his death so that I can go to life. It doesn't say, I go to my death so that I can go to life. It doesn't say that. And so, Lord, I want to pray right now in the name of Mashiach ben David that we will turn and find salvation, and that we will receive the true life and the true light that enlightens every man. And we'll give you all the praise